Brand awareness, brand recognition, brand recall, brand dominance. What do these words mean, and what's the difference between all of them? Let's find out. First, let's start with the main word here, which is brand awareness, which refers to the degree to which consumers are familiar with a certain brand and what it stands for. When it comes to brand awareness, there is unaided or spontaneous brand awareness, and this is when consumers are able to recall a brand in association with the product category with no or minimal aid or prompting. For example, when someone is asked, "What are the brands that come to mind when you think about soda beverages?" and they answer, Pepsi and Coca-Cola. This is called brand recall. They recall the brand names without a hint or aid from the person asking them. Now, Pepsi in this case is also considered to be top-of-mind awareness because it's the first name that came to their mind in association with the product category. And this is the highest level of brand awareness. But later in this video, we are going to see some cases where this could turn into a problem. Now, the other type of brand awareness is aided or prompted brand awareness. This is when the surveyor prompts the consumer with an element of a brand, such as a logo, package, or tagline, and they are able to recognize the brand name. It also happens in real life when consumers see an element of a brand or an ad for a brand, and they are instantly able to recognize the brand name just by seeing an element of it. For example, when someone is driving on the highway and they see the golden arches and they immediately recognize McDonald's as a brand. Or when someone sees the swoosh or reads "Just Do It" and they recognize Nike as the brand behind it. This is called brand recognition. Brand recognition shows that they are aware of the brand, even if it does not spontaneously come to their mind when they think about the product category, which is the case in brand recall, or it isn't the first thing that comes to mind, like the case in top-of-mind awareness. So brand recognition is a lower level of brand awareness, but it's the first step towards building this awareness to high levels. In other words, if they do not recognize the brand in the first place, then it has no chances of being recalled or even becoming top of mind. That's why big brands put a lot of emphasis on building brand recognition through the different elements of the brand, such as logo, tagline, package, or color, and make sure consumers associate those elements with their brand names. For example, Coca-Cola consistently uses a specific red color, and this has become an important part of its identity and a significant source of brand recognition that the company calls it our second secret formula. The company is very particular about this color, that it specifies it in its manuals and requires it to be used across the board in the product packages, marketing materials, signages at the stores, and even as part of the Coca-Cola office design. Now, sometimes when consumers are asked about the brands that come to mind when they think about a certain product category, and the majority mention one brand name, this is considered to be brand dominance. It means that this particular brand dominates that category. This is of course a very high level of brand awareness, but sometimes it might result in a problem for the brand. When consumers start using a brand name as a synonym to a product category, this brand name becomes generic. The problem with becoming generic is that other brands will start to be sold using this brand name. For example, many years ago the brand Kleenex became synonymous with tissues, and now when someone goes to the shop and asks to buy Kleenex, the seller understands that the customer is just looking for tissues and can give them any tissue brand and they will take it, because they were not specifically asking for Kleenex as a brand in the first place, but rather for tissues, as it has become known in the market that Kleenex equals tissues. When this happens to a brand, the brand starts losing the main functions and benefits of building a brand, which is to identify and differentiate its products from the competition. In many cases, it even presents a problem when it comes to protecting the trademark itself, as when the term becomes too generic, it might lose such protection, which is the battle Google has fought a few years ago to protect its trademark after the term Google and Googling were used by a lot of people instead of searching the internet. But the US Supreme Court affirmed that the term Google is still a protected trademark. So marketers ultimately want to bring their brand to become top of mind in its category, while also being cautious that it does not turn into being a generic word. If you've made it this far in this video, you might also want to watch our other video on brand equity.